Hi, today's episode is all about Shallow Inlet.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Shallow Inlet is about 2.5 hours from Melbourne CBD, and it's on the west side of Wilson's Promontory.
You can access it from Sandy Point or from Yanaki. What a beautiful place. We took 2 trips this year. First trip was just day trip, and it was between me, Ovi and Will. So we're going to show you that next, and we'll get back to you.
Enjoy!
We took an early morning drive to bring you this adventure at Shallow Inlet. These marine park waters are ideal for swimming, sailing, surfing, kayaking and of course fishing. There is 2 ways to access Shallow Inlet, and that's via Yanaki or Sandy Point. Sandy Point is where we go, and beach launching is how you get your boat on the water. So, first thing first, we got our waders on and off we go to get some bass yabbies. While Ovi and Will were pumping the yabbies, I was happy to stay out of their way and do some filming. The bass yabbies are excellent bait for King George whiting, so it's definitely worth spending a bit of time to get some. After a few dozen, it was time to launch the boat. You have to take it easy here until you get into the channel, and then you'll be in 3 to 7 meters depth. We start setting up the cameras, getting the burley ready, and off we go. While Will and Ovi were fishing with bait, I decided to throw some plastics. Before you know, I got massive pike. Then, after a few picks, Ovi got a small King George whiting. Not long after that, I managed a mullet. Soon later, salmon showed up. It looked like we're going to have a mixed bag today. Then Will managed a nice sized target fish. King George took a pilchard fillet on a running rig. And it was on. We started bringing them from every side of the boat. Most took the running rig and some even on paternoster rig. Today's session, pilchard was the key. When I checked the underwater camera later, I couldn't see any King George whiting, only pike. Then Will had a screamer. First we thought it's a nice salmon, but actually it was a nice silver trevally. Occasionally a school of mullet would pass under the boat, and we would get a few of them on paternoster rig, and they were taking pilchard as well. For nearly 45 minutes, we had consistent action on King George whiting. Not the big ones we normally get here, but lots of them, and they were around 35 to 40 centimeters. As the sun started to set, it was time to slowly pack up and start heading back home. One thing I would add, if you go to Shallow Inlet, maybe consider to stay overnight. It can be very exhausting driving back to Melbourne after a long day on the water. The second trip we took, it was just amazing.
Yes, in the next clip you're gonna see our adventure. We went there for 2 days with few friends. We had 3 boats there and had the best time ever.
No, it was beautiful. You're going to see in the next clip that actually from getting bogged to catching some beautiful and some great fish
Yes,
and having a barbecue.
we did.
Enjoy.
In these 2 days adventure, we had 3 boats involved. Will had his stubby craft, Adrian had his Heinz signature, and we had the Whitley Clearwater on display. The age group was from 7 to mid-50s, and of course, little Chiquita was with us. While we were setting up, Tibi had his drone in the air capturing the beauty of this place. On the other side, Bill was doing some maintenance on Dennis's patrol. As usual, our fishing adventure here started with getting some bass yabbies. Ovi and Abel took the responsibility to find some and Chiquita went to inspect. They quickly managed few, but since we had 3 boats, we needed some more. Well, AJ jumped in to help, and what do you know, little Chiquita was there to show everyone how it's done. It was time to launch, and this time we used the second platform as the tide was quite high. Now, this is one thing you have to be careful here, don't get bogged. That's why going in a group is a great idea. Quickly, we had the snatch strap out, and thanks to few tips from a local, Adrian was out of trouble. Then, take 2. This time we launched with no problems at all. It was a bit overcast, but the water was calm, so we were up for a nice day out. As we were passing Villanovi, they were already catching fish. Looks like salmon was out to play. On our boat, Alice managed to get a rock cod. Then, Abel was on a salmon which took a baited running rig aimed to catch King George whiting. Adrian's boat was busy as well, this time a small flathead. Underwater, lots of pike, but we didn't manage to hook any. In between all the quality fish, here you will find skate and banjos as well that took our bait aimed for gummy sharks. In meantime, Villanovi were still catching salmon. Just after tide change, Angeline managed first King George whiting. It wasn't big, but it was the target fish. Not long after, TB was on another one. This time, King George whiting took a soft plastic. By 6 p.m., we slowly started to retrieve the boats. We regrouped and put together a plan for tomorrow's fishing trip. This awesome day finished with a nice barbecue and lots of singing and laughs.
And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
All right, we got Will with us, and let's get his opinion and his experience with Shallow Inlet.
Great place. Shallow Inlet for a reason. Gets very shallow, so you've got to be very aware which way you head out. Stick to the channels. Beautiful spot. A lot of different fish to be caught.
Definitely.
Yeah, we caught whiting, salmon, trevally, flathead, bit of everything really.
Oh, heaps of variety there, definitely.
Yeah, didn't get rough at all. Fair bit of weed around, but you just got to persist and fight through the weed. Even when we were fishing, you had the 300 metres to the shoreline. Your little sand dune, cross over the sand dune, bang, you do a bit of surf fishing.
Oh no, definitely. You do have the access to the, obviously, Warata Bay,
Yes.
and you can actually get out. On the day that I was closed there, it was way too rough. It was breaking, and yeah, you wouldn't take the chance. But on a good day,
You do, yeah. You got to pick the right days regardless where you are. Pick the right day and you can go fish for whatever out there, you'll catch anything.
the thing we learned with this particular place, the best is to navigate normally through your obviously GPS sounder, but get your phone, put the Google Maps, and have a look the actual inlet itself on the Google Maps, because it's quite more detailed, because the sounder's not the best for navigation there.
No, well, I did find with mine, at a couple of times when we were going by the navigation on the GPS, on the fish finder, it was basically saying I was on land.
Yeah, so that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I believe, I don't know if it was upgraded, I'd have to look into that, but yeah, it's something to be very aware of.
Well, my one's up to date, and when you get to Yanaki and that side, it's basically saying game over.
That you're on land?
But
or,
you can
yeah.
keep going still.
That's
There's
right.
heaps more arms there that you can
Exactly
go.
right.
So that, the best way to navigate that is actually use Google Maps. And I learned that from a friend, Bernard Lukic. He actually told me, TV, just try this and it works. And it did. It's actually fantastic.
A beautiful spot, and many more to come.
Let's have a look the next part, and I hope you enjoy it.
Enjoy, guys.
The very next day, crystal clear morning. We started with a hot cuppa and enjoying the peaceful place. Again, the water was great, and slowly we started launching the boats. This time, everything went smooth. Even the Amar Garcia, slow and visual navigation is very important. In meantime, I decided to check the mouth of the inlet and try a few marks that I had for gummy and King George whiting. In the distance, you can see the ocean breaking like crazy. Will and Adrian anchored on the same spot like yesterday, and the fun of catching salmon started instantly. Very quick, they had few fish in the tank. Will was having fun by casting metal lures at them, and he was quite successful. If well treated, salmon is okay eating fish, but it is a dynamite bite for gummy sharks. On the other boat, Adrian's crew managed few King George whitings that they were okay size, and between them they had few small flatties that just had to go back in the water. We end up getting ripped off by crabs. No fish for us at all. Crabs were stealing our bite consistently. When we got back to the others, little IJ wasn't too happy, so he wanted to be on my boat. We did the switch, and as we anchored, he started getting some salmon.
Oh, Daddy, come get it. Okay.
Catch his mood changed very quickly and there was smiles all over the place. Adrian was also casting slugs and getting or losing few fish. After I checked the underwater camera, all I could see is mullet. Next moment, we seen Will on front of his boat as a massive salmon took him for a bit of a walk around. This fish jumped a few times in the air and after 5-6 minutes managed to escape. Abel and the crew were in the area as well. They were having a ball catching salmon on slugs and baited hooks.
Smile! Hey, good job, buddy. What is it? Whoa.
Teamwork, as always, is very important. On the other hand, Ovi was trying hard to get some King George whiting, and by the end of the day, we end up with about a dozen. Underwater, mullet cruising around, but we still managed some King George whiting. Then it was time to head back out and get ready for a long drive home. All in all, it was a great few days with my friends.
Get to know the Squeaky Beach. Take the family on a day trip to one of the best beaches in Victoria. Squeaky Beach is iconic for its squeaky white sand and turquoise water, earning it the title of the most photographed beach at Wilson's Prom. The rounded grains of quartz make a squeaking sound when you walk, giving this popular local beach its name. Enclosed by impressive granite boulders at either end of the beach, Squeaky Beach can be reached from a range of short walks, including the Lilly Pilly Gully Car Park, Picnic Bay or Tidal River, which offers spectacular coastal views. Since pictures speak louder than words, please enjoy the rest of this presentation.
This is a quick demonstration why I changed my vertical anchor winch to a Lone Star drum winch. The issues that I had with my old anchor winch, first it was dropping down very slow. Then it was getting stuck very often, which was very annoying. Next, because it was all chine, continuous friction removed the galvanized coating, so rust took over in no time. Beside the rust, another problem was the weight, like having another extra person on board all the time. So after removing it, I called my friend Pira from Detailing Time to Shine to do some rust removal and give the boat a bit of a shine by doing cut and polish job on it. After Pira was done, I could not recognize my boat. After making the boat look pretty, I took it to Mix Marine, who has been looking after my boat since I got it. I do believe that we should all have a regular mechanic who you can trust and knows the history of your boat. There are quite few drum winches out there like Viper, Savage and many more, but I chosen Lone Star just because of some research I did. Young James started the preparation by removing the old parts and installing the new bowsprit. The teamwork at Mix Marine and the attention to details was priceless. After a full day of installation, we moved to the next day for final touches. Before you know, the anchor was set to go. I can say that I was impressed with the work that young James did. The very next day, it was time to test it. First impression, very fast release. Now I'm holding ground in places and conditions that I was unsuccessful before. Another thing that I was impressed with is the very powerful and fast retrieve. Smoother ride and no more chain banging. Conclusion, I should have gone Lone Star a long time ago.
Thank you for watching and we see you next time.
The next episode will be all about Port Phillip Bay and bread and butter fish.
See you then.
See ya.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do